and then like the news is a TV show. Like it presents itself at you, hello, like it comes at you with authority and certainty, and all of these sort of tropes that we've come to like, and we've seen it all our lives. So it evolves a little bit. They always look more or less the same. The background looks more or less the same. The tone, the pomposity of the music. You forget that this is just a commercial product that's giving you information that's salient to its own objective.
It's a great way to put it, commercial product.
It can't tell you, hey, shit, we don't know anything. The only bit of reality we can observe is a minute portion of all potential realities. We've got to radically reevaluate everything. I'm being told stuff by Pfizer back there. They can't afford that kind of latitude. They've got to stay on the rail.
I was having a conversation with Eric Weinstein the other day where he's explaining to me the reality of other dimensions. And the measurable reality of other dimensions, that we absolutely know that they exist. And do other beings have access to them? Can they travel through these things? Is that what we're dealing with? Imagine if that becomes at the forefront of the zeitgeist, if people recognize that not only are there other dimensions, multiple other dimensions that are recognizable, measurable, you know where they are, you know how to get to them, but beings are coming from those dimensions and visiting us on a regular basis. You're gonna go, holy shit, there's a bigger thing going on. There's something that transcends all physical reality as we know it. It's beyond our imagination, and it is reality.
Yes, we're fetishizing, understandably, the only measurable part of our reality, while knowing even deeply personally for our own subjectivity that there's something else within us. There is our experience of rational thought, there's our experience of bodily sensation, but there's something else within us. And I suppose what this book is, what fascinated me about it, is that it's saying that without the divine, without the sacred, without some personal relationship to what you might call God, you know, that which is beyond material, which is beyond what you can know, that which requires faith, and all of our lives are going to require faith. Even what you've said about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and personal discipline is the faith that I'm going to feel better if I do this.
Yeah, there's faith in that. Yeah, there's faith in the understanding of the process.
And part of the problem, I think, if you live in a materialistic and rationalistic culture, which is what, you know, as my understanding is post-Enlightenment culture is about individualism, materialism, rationalism. If you accept those as the driving ideas, then in the end, the only things that matter are the things that you can measure. And there's no doubt that science, technology, medicine are marvelous, magnificent tools, metrics, ways, lenses for observing the miracles of nature and the cosmos. But when they start to drive economic models, you can't make the same claims for objectivity. W.B. Yeats, the Irish poet, said each artist must create their own religion. And I feel like in a culture where there is no discipline, religion, ideology, other than your role is to be a passive consumer, to consume information, to consume product, to not question, then almost every individual has to have like, right, this is what I believe in, this is who I am, this is how I'm going to make my life. Now, I don't mean this in an individualistic way, because otherwise then you've unconsciously fallen into one of what I believe is the unspoken ideologies of our time. Materialism, progressivism, individualism.
Yes.
What you are as an individual is the most important thing, because actually that isn't true, that there's a spiritual deficiency that causes addicts to become addicts. They're looking for something that they can't find in the world.
Neural, stop showing me pictures of that giant Jesus statue in Rio being struck by lightning. It's not a sign from God. It's what happens when you leave stuff out in the rain. And it's Jesus, not Frankenstein. No matter how many times it gets zapped with electricity, it's not coming back to life. And I live in America, where Jesus is already too much of a lightning rod.
John, I've not known you long, but I love you already. But I have to say that it's disingenuous to claim that the biases that are exhibited on Fox News are any different from the biases exhibited on MSNBC. It's difficult to suggest that these corporations operate as anything other than mouthpieces for their affiliate owners in BlackRock and Vanguard. And unless we start to embrace, and then also, mate, like just spiritually, if I may use that word in your great country, we have to take responsibility for our own perspective. I've been on that MSNBC, mate. It was propagandist nutcrackery on there. I went on the show called Morning Joe. It was absurd the way they carried on.
Morning Joe.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It wasn't morning. There was no one called Joe there. No one could concentrate. They didn't understand the basic tenets of journalism. No one was willing to stick genuine American heroes like Edward Snowden. No one was willing to talk about Julian Assange and what he suffered trying to bring real journalism to the American people. And I think to sit within the castle of MSNBC throwing rocks at Fox News is ludicrous.
My friend.
Make MSNBC better. Make MSNBC great again.
My friend, I would love. The moment the
Why is on a territory you can win on, Joe?
Well, Russell, darling, the moment that you give me a specific example, an actual example.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Just wait.
Wait,
Just
we need a specific example.
Let me tell you what the specific example I'd like to hear of. I'd like to hear a specific example, specific example of an MSNBC correspondent or anchor being on television saying something they knew was false and were saying behind the scenes to people, I'm allowed to go out and we know that the election wasn't stolen.
You've
or something
illustrated this
equivalent,
example.
but I will go out on television and say the opposite. I will lie.
What's my answer?
Just give me the specific example.
I understand the basic point.
Give me a specific example.
All right.
I'm with you. I think it's a false equivalency, Russell.
It's not.
That's your own biases, mainly.
It's not about bias. It's a false equivalency because you don't actually know anything about any of these organizations you're talking about. Even on MSNBC ones, big fucking deal.
My darling, it was more than enough.
You can't come out with
such a carry-on.
You have a single actual fact.
Do you want an example?
Yes.
The ludicrous, outrageous criticisms of Joe Rogan around ivermectin, deliberately referring to it as a horse medicine when they know it's an effective medicine.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Rachel
example.
Maddow turning up on the TV saying if you take this vaccine, you're not going to get it when it hasn't been clinically trialed for transmission.
Non-responsive.
You have to listen.
Wait.
Do you think you can improve
Non-response.
America
I
by
think we could
determinedly
all be
and
better.
avowedly condemning Fox News without acknowledging that you're participating in the same game? Did you not just listen to Bernie Sanders, someone who plainly, legitimately believes in this country and believes it's possible to change, but is bound by corruption, is bound by the lobbying system? Surely it's clear to you, Bill, as one of the great pundits and experts and comic voices, that systemic change is required. Money has to be taken out of politics. We need new political systems that genuinely represent ordinary Americans so that we can overcome cultural differences. And bickering about which propagandist network is the worst is not going to save a single American life, not improve the life of a single American child, not going to improve America's standing in the world, and the world needs a strong America. I'll tell you that. So you have an obligation, a duty, not to condemn these people,